We just saw a Nora movie and it was amazing. We rewatched it 3 times. It was just must
Yeah, saw
see.
it in the theater and now it's streaming, as well, so you can get
And
it.
it was so hard to
Yeah,
get a movie tickets. We live in Florida and we were waiting for it like days after days.
yeah.
And not all movie theaters were working properly with this movie and everything, but we finally get tickets. And when we left, we sort of like were very silent in the car because it was very like mind-blowing experience. And I was shocked how good acting was, especially of like few guys there. And I'm not sure about Anora. I can't say that like, oh, Anora is my favorite. But guys were amazing, right? Especially bald guy, I forgot his name, Yuri from Russia, that one guy. He got a lot of awards.
Yeah, Nora's like role is like kind of, she doesn't have like to do much. That's, there's
Just a dancer
couple
and
funny scenes
she
where she's like a firecracker. She's like a fighter and like doesn't take any BS from anybody. So she's just not like a pushover. So
she
she
was just like always with her cigarette, like walking around, go to the club, like dance. Basically, a very basic role. And she meets the guy from a very wealthy family. And basically, she just signed up for him. I don't know, maybe she fall in love with him, who knows? But he just was terrible, terrible person, very spoiled, basically like a spoiled brat. And he just used her for a few weeks, get married in Vegas, and just dropped her as soon as his parents arrived. And it was very nice movie, interesting to watch, very different. And they filmed a lot of scenes in New York, in Brooklyn, on the Coney Island, which was amazing. And I loved the location. I loved the house, very beautiful large house they filmed in, and the club was amazing. Like it just was interesting. It was just like art house movie and easy to watch. We were surprised that so many old people were in the movie theater. I thought that people gonna be like 20, 30 years old, but there were a lot of couples 80 years old, 90 years old. But we live in Florida, but it was for me a little bit even like weird that there were so many like different interesting scenes which was like not for kids. I would say not for my parents, they wouldn't understand that. It is a great movie to watch, but not with your family. And would you recommend it to your friends?
I think that the first half of the movie is like pretty self-explanatory, just like a lot of partying, like how they meet. They probably went on for too long in the first like hour of the movie where it's just like party, party, party. You kind of already know where it's going. Good hour of that. But the funniest part is like when stuff starts to unravel and the uh, you know, kid's family tries to break up their marriage because the characters that Taisi is talking about are like these sort of like strong arms hired by this like wealthy family of this kid, and they don't know what they're doing. They seem like they're tough guys, but like Honora's just like kicking their butt, and they're trying to like capture her, and like people are running away. It just kind of gets crazy. It's like a dark comedy, but then it also has like just kind of like really deep underlying tones of relationships, partying, drugs, abuse, family, like, having parents that like don't approve of like, who or what you do. And
Yes, but he's miserable. It is not even about that, but he was just miserable. He would do everything wrong. He would use people for his own benefit. So it's not only parents are bad, but their son is terrible. Just spoiled piece of shit. I didn't like him at all. And he just used her, and he thought that he can buy anybody basically, gave her some money, and just they even removed her engagement ring at the end. He was like, "You thought that I'm gonna marry you?" And she was like, "Yes, of course." She thought that it's real, but he just used her and took her ring and left. But yeah, she's just a broken, poor girl. and she was working in a club dancing, but instead of like saving some money, go study, she was just like okay with that. Just a lot of alcohol, dance, miserable job. And she's American, like have all the documents and opportunity to be at least a driver, like Uber driver. No, she chose the worst job in the world and she was okay with that. Just such a like I don't know. For me it was disgusting. And at the end of the movie she was sitting in the car with random guy and just you're gonna see what she's gonna do. Terrible. Just honestly, I was almost like thrown up in the middle of the movie theater.
So 10 out of 10?
I would give it 10 out of 10, but it is very
It's not a 10.
dark, dark movie.
Yeah.
It just honestly, just I was almost crying because you know that her life is not gonna be a fairy tale. It just they showed in the beginning of the movie like, oh, she is in such a deep hole with her life, like no money, terrible job. And then she meets this prince, and then they just used her, throw her away to the garbage, and you just know that she's gonna stay there. It just at the end of the movie, there is no fairy tale
Resolution.
ending. It's not like she's like, oh, now she's gonna have a beautiful life. No, she doesn't have money, she doesn't have family to support her, she's crying, and she comes back to her room with the people who smoke inside of the apartment, drink alcohol all day long. Basically, she will have no strength to quit. And there are so many people like that who just have no opportunity to get good education. And it's basically just like terrible. And it was very hard for me to watch that kids, especially women, are so not protected basically right now because they can't get certain normal job like truck driver or something. They can't even do that and they have to choose terrible jobs. I mean, it was heartbreaking for me, but he didn't really care. You don't care about Nora. I was sorry for her.
I think with how much hype that it got, being like an A24 movie and like, it being like up for like awards and stuff, that it was like pretty basic story. But like the funniest part was just like the family. That was like the funniest part is like this dude's family and them trying to like go around the city and trying to find the guy. But yeah, I give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
And when I saw the trailer, I can tell you that I had another expectations about the movie. I thought that she's gonna run away with her husband now, with this boyfriend. She's gonna run away from this family who against them. But it was completely opposite. Her boyfriend, her new husband, just dropped her.
Mm.
Like, I don't need you, you garbage.
Mm.
And that was crazy for me. I was like, what? He just ran away right there, not like don't support nothing, and took away her ring, which is very terrible for the man. Very disgusting, honestly. So this movie, I would say that I recommend, but only for certain people. I still can't even get over it, honestly. I'm gonna rewatch it next year.